All right, Larry Krueger from the Pig in a Pickle Krug Show with a 49er video. And make sure you check out Pig in a Pickle. They have two locations. They're in Corte Madera, open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. And also in the Emeryville Public Marketplace in Emeryville, open Wednesday through Sunday in Emeryville. Check out Pig in a Pickle, the best barbecue in Northern California. The brisket is amazing. All right, let's talk 49ers. Interesting report that I caught just in the last couple days. NFL insider Jordan Schultz reported that free agent defensive back Lonnie Johnson has fielded interest from the Niners. Now, there's other teams that are interested as well. He recently visited the Seahawks, but he left there without cutting a deal. He was a second-round pick in the 2019 draft, played only 165 snaps last year. 123 of those came at free safety. And he played an additional 182 snaps on special teams. He missed extensive time last year because he had a groin issue and he had a hamstring issue, and he had to be put on IR in week 11. So, he's 27 years of age at this point. He used to be, once upon a time, he was a really, really attractive cornerback prospect. He was taken 54th overall out of Kentucky. And he has some great measurables. He's a big corner with really good speed. Now, the ball production's not there. He's only got 3 picks in his NFL career, so he doesn't have great ball production. And I don't know how good a free safety he would be. But what I really like about Lonnie Johnson is just he's a big athletic guy who's got experience at corner, who's not old. In 2021, he allowed a 54% completion percentage on 24 targets. And so that was the year prior with the Texans. And that gives us an idea of his skill set. If you look at that, to me, is the year to look at in his career. It wasn't last year because of the injuries. It was the year prior. In 542 snaps 2 years ago, 317 came at free safety. Each of those came from week 2 through week 8. He played 148 snaps at corner from week 12 through week 15. And, it's like we're at a point where versatility is absolutely key, whether you're going to play free safety, nickel, outside corner, whether you're going to play linebacker. I mean, it's a rush and cover game, and you need big corners who make tackles against the run. And that's what this guy does. And if you look at the 49ers secondary, the one thing that they're going to miss with Mosley, and we talked about it the other day, and Jimmy Ward, is the physicality that they bring. Emmanuel Mosley was as physical corner against the run as you're going to find in the league. And then at the same time, Jimmy Ward was as physical a free safety as you're going to find. So the Niners lost a lot of size and physicality in their secondary, losing those 2 players. And I just think they're trying to replace that. If you look at where they're at right now in the corner, they have Charvarius Ward, who's a good sized corner, Diamador Lenore, Samuel Womack, Ambry Thomas, and Isaiah Oliver. So you got 5 right there. Hartsfield might be able to play the nickel, so that's 6. Quantrez Knight's got some experience on the corner, so maybe you have 7. So like Lonnie Johnson, to me, would be a really nice pickup just from the standpoint of you don't know if your need is going to be at free safety. It's the same reason I like the Hartsfield pickup. It's like you don't know exactly where the hole is going to be. Isaiah Oliver's playing some of the best ball of his career last year. He may step in at the nickelback and be your full-time starter, and then Hartsfield's maybe more of a special teamer. And where does that leave Lonnie Johnson? But Lonnie Johnson also has the size and the ability to play outside. So, if you had Charvarius Ward and Lonnie Johnson outside, you could potentially play Lenore in the slot corner position. You could potentially play Womack in that slot corner position. I just think more than anything, what the Niners are looking for is just quality veteran depth that doesn't break the bank in their secondary so that they can pick the very best players in the draft because they've got total flexibility. And that's what Lonnie Johnson will give you. He was drafted as a corner, and he can play outside. And so if you find safeties in the draft, you could leave Lonnie Johnson outside. He doesn't run quite as well as he did coming out of Kentucky, but he still runs pretty well, and he's a big guy with long arms who's got a lot of experience. So that, and that's where most of his background is playing the corner. But as he loses a little bit of speed and as the game becomes more of a passing game, a big bodied corner like Lonnie Johnson also is very attractive to transition inside to play free safety. And so now you got Tayshaun Gibson and you've got Afong at strong safety, Gibson at free safety. Behind those guys, you've got George Odom, who's more of a special teamer, and Taylor Hawkins, who I really liked at San Diego State. He didn't play at all this last year for the Niners. He was on the practice squad, but he's going to try to transition from corner to safety. So, and then you got Quantrez Knight, who I also feel like is more of a safety as well, and he might be able to transition to safety. So, because you have, Knight and Odom and Hawkins and Hafanga and Gibson who can play safety, and then Hartsfield also can play safety. Having a guy like Lonnie Johnson who can play corner and safety just gives you that great flexibility going into the draft. So if you do find a great corner, you can play Lonnie inside, and if you find a great safety, you can play Lonnie outside. He's got different strengths and weaknesses at the two different positions. Outside, on the corner, he's a bigger bodied guy who, has really long arms and a lot of experience, but lacks some deep speed. At safety, he's a guy who's got great coverage ability, but doesn't always take great angles. So you have some, you have some, you got to kind of choose how do you want to utilize them. But at this point in the calendar, here we are, it's late free agency. And you're just looking for quality depth that you can show up in camp with so that you aren't too thin. And then you also want versatility so that you're not tied into a certain position in the draft. You can screw up your entire offseason if you go for a player in the draft that forces you to go leap forward for a player or a position in the draft because you went in free agency for somebody who could only play one spot and you have to have the other spot filled and you wind up reaching for a player. So it can almost be like a double loss if you take the wrong approach to free agency. I like this player. I don't know what it's going to cost. And I want to make sure he's healthy. I'd absolutely want to give him a physical and make sure that he, everything was working. But if he's healthy and Lonnie Johnson, and they can get him at a decent price, Lonnie Johnson could be quality veteran depth for the 49ers, both at corner and at free safety. And going into the draft, that could be absolutely the perfect way to play it. So I like the pickup. If they can make it, we're going to find out here in the next couple days. All right. Hope you enjoyed our 49er video. Check out Pig and a Pickle. They're in Corte Madera, open 7 days a week in Marin, and they're open Wednesday through Sunday in Emeryville. Check them out. I love the brisket. I love the brisket chili, the pulled pork, the ribs, the chicken. It's all phenomenal. And check out the Krueg Show. Like and subscribe. We'll have Niner content all year long right here on the Krueg Show on YouTube.